Welcome to Business Amplified with host Kevin A. Dunlap.
This podcast is for small business owners aiming to amplify their enterprises.
Explore strategies to play a bigger game by becoming an author, public speaker, podcast host, or expanding your brand in other ways.
Elevate your business on Business Amplified.
Hello, everybody. This is Kevin Dunlap with Business Amplified, and welcome to our show. Today we have a wonderful woman I've had some great conversations with. I can't wait to have this interview. Her name is Asha Mankowska. Hopefully I said that correctly. She'll correct me, obviously, if I was wrong. So anyway, without any further ado, Asha, welcome to our show.
Hello, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to converse with you today.
Same here. And I do know that we were talking in our pre-interview that you've got a new website coming up, or maybe you just launched, you've got a podcast, you've got a whole bunch of other things. Before we get into what those are, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What is it you do? And why is it that you do it?
Yes, that's all the important questions, right? So in a very quick, in a nutshell, believe it or not, I have a pleasure to be recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the top business mentors in US, and with over 17 plus years of experience. I don't even want to remember.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I know. Although, my initial education is master's in PR, journalism, and being an attorney. But I quickly understood that that's not my mission or passion in life. And I became a business owner. So first and foremost, I am really a business owner. And then executive business leadership, high performance mentor or consultant, right? I also have a pleasure to be a sales in corporate training, best-selling author, and I am a keynote speaker at many prestigious universities like Harvard or Yale. And what I'm doing, my clients, they want to focus on increasing three things: profits, performance, and sales, right? So I help them create their own multi-million-dollar businesses or companies that really fit their passion to have personal, financial, professional, or time freedom. So it's really perfect for those B2B and B2C that want to become, or they already are, 7- or 8-figure entrepreneurs who seek better sales, revenue systems for more predictability, profitability, and obviously scalability in any economy, especially right now, right? And let's say, who is my ideal client? Also, my fellow business coaches, consultants, mentors, online trainers, but sales specialists, anyone that really excel or wants to excel even more in sales or professional services, for instance, insurance, CPAs, my fellow attorneys, doctors, physicians, chiropractors, hypnotherapy masters. You can really have an endless list, but also companies that do constructions, plumbing, tree cutting, medical spas, acupuncture spas, hotels, all kinds of corporations, right? So my goal is really straightforward, and with my experience and many mistakes, obviously, that I made by myself, it really helped me develop skills that it allows me to educate business owners, corporations, executives quickly and effectively, so they can successfully apply all the strategies and grow their business to maximum capacity or at the level they want it to be. So that in a very big nutshell, trust me.
Yeah. So what do you see is the biggest problem that people have? When they're trying to scale the business. What's what like so what's the probably the most common thing that you see?
What I haven't mentioned, one of my websites that I recently launched at the beginning of the year is acceleratedprofitsmasters.com, right? And that is exactly the main challenge of all my clients. So, just to give you an example, they can come to me with issues like, okay, we have a leadership issues, we have a lack of high sales conversion, or maybe lack of leads in the first place, or the leads flow is not predictable. They have a low employee engagement, and so they don't know how to grow, scale, probably also sell, because that's exactly where they at. But in the end of the day, the biggest challenge, it's not the revenue, because people can make millions and millions, but it's actually the low profitability in their business. Because as we know, we can say, oh my goodness, my company made 10 million, 15 million this year. That's revenue. And revenue will always feed our ego, but profits feeding our family and actually our business. Because only thanks to profits, we can reinvest, we can, pay ourselves as well at the level we really want. We can reinvest into business. We can put in place systems or hire much better professionals to represent us or help us build this business. So I will say profitability, number one. And number two, I work with so many brilliant business owners. One of their weakness is that they think they have to do everything, wear so many hats. They do everything so perfect. So they have such a hard time in delegating, right? But this what happens, they becoming their own business bottleneck, so they can't grow if they don't have a great team. Doesn't have to be employee, necessarily, especially in this economy. But if they don't have systems put in place, right, that can work when they are not there, when they are not so attached to their business or hovering around their employees all the time, right? That's exactly, lack of this will be definitely one of the top issues. I think that's enough for now.
And I fully agree with you because I guess the two biggest things that I see is number one is delegation, and number two is micromanagement, where they've got to. So if they delegate something to somebody else, they're still kind of doing it themselves because they're micromanaging like every little detail of that person that they're subcontracting or hire as an employee out. And and I've talked about this on many times in a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is written by a gentleman by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. He
Yeah,
created the four quadrants, the E and the S on the left hand side. E stands for
right.
employee, S stands for self-employed. Then on the right hand side, you got the B, top right is the B for business owner, and I for investor. And a lot of people think
Yeah,
that they're the B's and they're a business owner when technically they're actually just an S, they're just self-employed.
that's
And
right.
the whole difference between the S and the B is being able to, hey, I'm going to step away from my business, and my business is still as profitable, or even more profitable when I'm
Yeah,
not involved. And
yeah.
that's the biggest mindset shift. It's like, hey, you've got to release this. You've got to hire somebody else to do those mundane tasks.
You know what? Absolutely. And I have to say, when I was working with Harv T. Eker, me and my clients, we helped them put together events. There was like 3-day events for hundreds of people all around the US. It was a phenomenal opportunity me to participate in all of that, listen in. And that completely also changed my vision, how I want to build my businesses, right? And obviously, he invited like top star keynote speakers. And guess what? One of them was Robert Kiyosaki. So that was also my first time to, when I was introduced to his opinions, his books, and he wrote down the quadrant for me on the table, and I was taken, away with so much astonishment because I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, and it's so simple, right? And phenomenal, very down to earth person too. I had the pleasure to meet him at that point. So 100%, I will recommend to any business owner who is just either toying with the, idea to maybe scale or grow their business, to definitely listen to or read his books.
And I will admit that I got introduced into Kiyosaki back in 2002 because I was doing an audio tape cassette tape program. This is really dating me, but this is a cassette tape program, and I bought it in like October or November of 2001. However, my New Year's resolution was to start listening to this program. So January 1st, 2002, I started listening to, I would name the name of the program. Again, this was on cassette tape, not CDs. CDs were that big back then. Was Personal Power by Tony Robbins.
Nice.
And maybe around day 10, one of the things that Tony Robbins says, like, for you to achieve any goal in your life, you have to also have a financial goal. Doesn't matter how rich you are or whatever. If you don't have a financial goal, then you can never achieve your other goals. And then he said, go out there and get a book on finances. So I remember going to the bookstore. Yes, there were bookstores back then. I went to the bookstore and I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I looked at the book because I had done some business stuff before. And I go, no, I'm not ready for this book. Let me start with the second book, Cash Flow Quadrant. So I've never read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Even though I talk about it all the time, I've never read it. But I started with Cash Flow Quadrant. Then his third book in that series was Own Your Own Corporation. Those are his first three books that he came out with. And like you said, that book changed my life. Cash Flow Quadrant was like Rich Dad Poor Dad, but for more advanced. And so that's why I never read the first book. It's like I've already learned what he's already talked about in his later books. And I will say this. Yes, Rich Dad, the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, E-Myth Revisited, and the 4-Hour Work Week are the three most effective books I think all entrepreneurs should be reading. Because one of the things that Tim Ferriss says in the 4-Hour Work Week, he breaks, if you want to really grow your business, he gave it an acronym, DEAL, D-E-A-L. And Asha's already been talking about this because the D stands for, the first thing, what can you delegate? It's the very first thing you need to do if you want to grow your business. You have to learn to delegate. I'll go through the other three letters of the remaining three letters. E stands for what can you eliminate? What are you doing that is completely irrelevant to your business? What can you just get rid of? You're not going to delegate it because it's too inconsequential. The third thing is what do you automate? What do you put on autopilot? Either by delegating to somebody else, a VA doing it, or you use AI or something like that to go and automate for you. And then the L is not really in the business, but the thing is, it's something he feels, and I agree, is that once you have your business running up and running, what do you do to liberate? Why are you doing all of this stuff? And the funny thing is, I said, well, I talked to somebody. Says, if you were making $1 million a month in profits, not revenue, but in profits,
right.
What are you going to do with yourself? And somebody says, well, I'll go play golf. I go, fantastic. So you're going to play golf 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Oh, no. What are you going to do? I mean, because we all want to be that busy self, and I want to work hard instead of work smart. What are you going to do with your free time?
Exactly. And you pointed out a very important factor and aspect of any business, the why. right? Why why we are in business, why they start their companies. And believe or not, on one of my first or second sessions, first session will be, let's say, the first 15 minutes. I call this our opportunity call, when we can get acquainted with my client and see where we can go from there. And then we can dive in their business in the next 45 minutes when we schedule after that. But one of my first questions is, can you please share with me, why are you doing what are you doing, right? What is your ideal picture vision of your life, your business, your private life, your finances, your spirituality, your physical health? Walk me through it, because only then I can learn where they really want to be, what their really why is. Because believe or not, sometimes business owners, they forget what their why is, why they've created this business in the first place. Because like you said, in US we have such a run, or such a goal and focus to be busy, 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 right? But why are we doing it? This is one of the most important factors. Otherwise we will get burned out, and you can even achieve other goals, $1 million in profits, like you said, for instance, if that's someone's goal, right? Or more. But then why are you doing it? What are you going to do with all of that, with your life? What's the purpose? What's the mission? And I think when people actually face that again, it's really that's when the breakthrough in their business, in their mind, will start. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree with that, yes, but a lot of times I think a lot of people's whys are very superficial, and you got to dig a lot deeper. If I said,
Oh yeah,
somebody says, "This is my why," and most of the time I go, "So BS." No, what is your real why? No, I want
exactly.
you to dig deep. No, what is it? Because this is your why is what's going to motivate you. Now, I'm sure Asha's have heard of something called a SMART goal. No, it
Yes,
has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, or risky, and it has to be time
right.
consuming. In my second book, and even more so in my fourth book, I said SMART goals are don't work. They don't work. They have to be what I call a SMART goal.
Mm,
SMARTY. Say
mm,
again, it's for specific, measurable,
right.
attainable, risky, meaning you have to do something different, has to be relevant, has to be a time involved. However, the last letter, the Y letter, it stands for what is your why? Why are you doing this?
Right.
And if you have a business without a strong why, if you have a goal without a strong why, it is just a pipe dream. And I've lived that. So because I remember we were I was volunteer staffing a personal growth class, not like what T. Harv Eker taught, through Peak Potentials at the time that he owned it.
Right.
It was through another company, and the staffers were together. And remember, this one guy said, "Hey, I want to be able to wear my wedding ring not on my pinky finger, but on my ring finger." And his wife was sitting there next to him. He goes, "Because I want to wear my ring on the proper finger, because he gained so much weight." And I looked at him straight, and this is somebody that most people are respected. And I looked at him straight in the eye. I goes, "That's BS. What's your real reason?" And he was like what? I mean, when his wife sitting right next to him, like he showed the big romantic gesture, and then he ended up saying the real reason I wanted to do this because I want to see my kids who are in middle school and high school graduate college and get married.
Yeah.
There's your why.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. I agree. And I have to always dig deeper, um, before they will really disclose their why. It's even hard for them too sometimes because they forget. People have a
Mhm.
tendency to get so busy and overwhelmed with day-to-day minutia, with all the tasks, that they have no time for it. And I remember when back in the days, I had a pleasure to write a book with Brian Tracy, which was called Ignite Your Life, and that became a best-selling book in sales and marketing category. So that was perfect for me, since that's my top interest. But I remember he wrote beautifully about the why. And I also wrote about branding, but also the why is important, because if we know our why, the how that we all worry about will really show up. And if the
Mhm.
why is strong enough, the how will never be difficult, because we're so committed to the why, right? So,
Absolutely.
and I think the commitment, the level of commitment, because I remember there was like three level of commitments, you know. First one, oh, I do if it's convenient. Yeah, my number one commitment. Number two is I will do it when I have to. I do, what's necessary, right? Or the minimum, what I have to really do. Okay, that second level of commitment, it's better, but it's not enough yet, right? The third level of commitment is definitely I'll do everything, whatever it takes, right? So this level of commitment obviously has to be done with integrity and based on your virtues and values, but that's what people are lacking sometimes, because we want it all. We have all the goals, like you said, smart goals that really don't work. But the thing is, what are you able to commit to achieve those goals, right? What are you
Mhm.
able to do in day to day to get you closer to your goals? For instance, I know that for my clients, when we talk about at the beginning, oh, they have amazing bigger goals, but the real what they made of really comes out not even in the first 3 months, right? But let's say in 6 months, in 12 months, when we already get down to the reality and we have to push forward with all the goals no matter what, right? Because it's, as you know, in business, in life, it's always like sinusoid. It's never, oh yeah, when I start I just take off and we it never happens. So that's exactly when our commitment will come in handy and the level will definitely show up.
Okay, and that's very well said, and thank you for sharing that. Because the thing is, if you're starting off with with a real strong reason or compelling reason, when whatever your business is, you are going to have high points, you are going to have low points. The economy is going to change. COVID is going to happen. Things, new will always come up. You may say, "Hey, I'm a great copywriter. Oh, this AI thing." I mean, the thing is, you have to be able to adapt. But the thing is, if you do have that strong, compelling reason for doing it, and you've got to sometimes dig really, really deep, because
Yeah.
because your surface reasons may will have you, like I said, maybe a level one or level two commitment. But what is that level three commitment?
Yeah.
Something that, I mean, that will drive you, and the
Yeah.
fact of being willing and able to let go of the reins sometimes, giving
Mm,
that control to somebody else,
mm-hmm.
because
Absolutely.
you will never become a multimillionaire success by doing everything yourself. I don't care
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah.
One of the biggest people that I respect in business is Sir Richard Branson. I think he's got 23 brands, 28 brands right now. Do you think he controls payroll and all of those in all of those companies, all the marketing campaigns? He doesn't do all of it. He hired the best of the best. For
Yeah.
a company to grow, you have to be able to. Ironically, you have to grow, which means
Yeah.
which means creating different departments, which may mean, hey, you got your sales and marketing department, you've got your R&D department, you've got your whatever it is, and being able to grow. That's the only way
Yeah.
that you're going to be able to gain that higher level of success, and then having that
Yeah.
strong reason why. Maybe your goal is, hey, I want to give $1 million away to charity. Fantastic. What's your real reason? Well, because I grew up poor. I grew up because I was abused. Well, I want to help other abused people. Okay, now we're starting to dig a little bit deeper here.
Yeah. Yeah. Then yes, because only if you dig deeper and get out the real why, only then their true motivation and commitment will show up, right? And you know what I've noticed, let's say anytime I train, especially sales teams, right? And when I go into the company, I have to do an audit first, so to speak, to see where the gaps are, right? So then I'm able to create, so to speak, a playbook, sales playbook for them to address those gaps and help them eliminate. And obviously that has to do with increasing conversion ratio and having a different goals, probably profit margins and whatnot, right? Back to this. But what is the biggest issue? It's not even their eagerness, like, oh, we love that, the script, the trainings, but let's say what will guarantee the results? Only when they're open to change, because so many people, they want to learn, right? But then do they implement? Sometimes they don't, because their issue is right here. They are scared of change. They think, oh, I've been doing things the way I've been doing, why do I need to learn something else, right? But then I always challenge them. I always say, okay, look at your results. Are they where you want it to be, right? So, but if we dig deeper to their why, their fears of change, their fears of innovation, and then it always will show up in any company, in the best person. We all have that. It's so human. We just have to admit that, and face it. But when we have good enough, strong enough why, that is deep enough, we will have a strong enough commitment. All the fears of change, of implementation, it won't be as so bothersome and like a big roadblock on our way, right?
Absolutely. Starting in 2010, I started taking a lot of personal growth classes, and even before that, when I started doing my own business, I don't remember who said this. I don't know if it was Zig Ziglar or it could have been somebody else. But I won't give you half the quote because I was only taught half the quote, so I won't give you the first half. And it says, for things to change, you've got to change. For things to get better, you've got to get better.
So
And I've been taking that to heart since my first business back in 1999. So I think that's when I first heard it. And so if I was, and then of course the corollary to that one is the very famous Einstein quote, which is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity.
absolutely.
And so, I am of that philosophy, is that if I'm not getting what I want in my life or my business, it doesn't matter if it's career, money, relationships, or whatever it is. I mean, it applies to everything. Is if I want something different, I have to do something different. So for things to change in my life, I have to be open to that change. And the thing is, most people are afraid of change. That's
true.
why they are getting the results that they currently have. Regardless of what that result is, you could be making $100 million or $1 million in profits right now, $100,000 in profits. But if that's not where you want to be, you have to do something different to get to the 2 million or to get to the 10 million. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Now, you may be very effective with what you're doing, but the thing is, you have to be open to doing something new and different.
Absolutely. And even with the teams, especially, let's say you're ready to grow your business, right? You're ready to have and train amazing sales team and department for your own business. Wonderful. But we always have to see who are we surrounding ourselves with? Who are we hiring? I'm being very picky when I help my clients hire their sales representative or whoever they want to call it, right? because there are levels of sales, but because then I have to train them, So I will be expected to deliver results with them, right? So not only, okay, I hire, they look good on paper, and that's it. Well, no, because we need to see one bad apple, so to speak, one apple, one person that will be so behind, too much afraid of change, right? Not implementing, can really cut the wings of the culture that is inside of your new company, young company, growing, established already company. So that's what we also have to take a look at, your company as the holistic view, the holistic body. What exactly, who is not working out, what is not working. And also sometimes I know that business owners, oh, this guy is with me for so many years, I don't want to change. But then, everyone else is being hurt. Your top performers are not really at their best, right? Because they facing mediocrity that is accepted, and rewarded, right? In a sense, if person like that is allowed to still be there and not deliver on their promise, right? And everyone else has to work hard, then all the cookie crumbles, because everyone else is being okay. I don't have to try my best. I don't. So the bottom line, if we are afraid of change, actually what we can face, it's the cost of not only losing money, losing our best people, really allowing our business not to grow, right? Because we get used to something. Well, that's the biggest challenge.
Well, I mean, and I get it, because a lot of times when the mediocrity is being rewarded, then that's just saying, hey, I don't have to perform. I mean, back in the day, back when I was in college, I was a bartender, and there's sometimes I worked in bars where people tip you, and and you count the tip. There was other bars you worked in that was called tip share. Everybody split the tips evenly. And then the lower, let's say the lower level bartender is being rewarded for being the low level bartender, because he or she, this is those three of you guys working, that one that's not performing as well is still getting 1/3 of the share. So there are a lot of things that would come up like that I saw that I did not agree with.
Absolutely. And that it's harming your performance, that is harming everyone else, right?
Yes.
I remember when, before I even started my own businesses in US, I became general manager of a few restaurants. And I'm like, okay, that was a time when I was working 17 hours a day. It was so difficult, but it taught me so much. One of my mottos in life, that if you want to do something even more challenging first. So I did. And I could tell, the people that I could count on, the people that show up always, the people that show up at their best of performance, right? I had to be so protective over them too, because if there was a person that was allowed to, show a lack of commitment, lack of performance, and was accepted by the owners, I have to face them too. I have to say, okay, that's not right. Because if you want to lose the rest of the team, or you want, your business go down, your reputation, which is everything that you have, right? Especially in a restaurant business. Our reputation, our branding and positioning is the key to first, communicating to our clients what exactly we offer, how they can count on us, what can change if they come to us, but also delivering on their promise. So let's say when they're coming to the restaurant expecting a great culinary experience and maybe receive like half experience. So would they come back? No, they won't. So from A to Z, right? I call this when I work with my clients, I talk about client journey. Client's journey, it doesn't stop when the sale is made, right? Client's journey just begins right now. So that's why we deal sometimes with buyer's remorse if the promise is not delivered on, right? So that's why every single step of the client's journey is so important in a business, in a company, because really what we really want, which is more troublesome and expensive, getting a new client acquisition, right? Or retention. Retention is always the most efficient, cost-effective, either with engaged, right, with engaged clients or engaged team members. It applies to both. Right, but it's only when we deliver on our promise, right? Only when clients really see that we care for them and that they're getting the results that they want, right? For instance, it's a huge difference. I remember we hired a few people to, let's say, to the company, and they've never were selling this type of product. They were good in sales, but maybe like for 5,000 or, so like lower ticket, so to speak, right? And I think that was B2B. And they had to sell much more to really showcase that they are a good investment for the business owner, for them to trust. So I remember how really proud some of them were when the first sale, they hit like 200,000, and they only sold in like maybe 5,000 at the most in their previous jobs. So the jump was huge. But when people see results, then they're more open, then they trust more, right? Or let's say when working with Asha or working with Kevin, our clients see their profitability increasing. Let's say not only they reach the yearly goal, but they will get 1 more million on top of that, cherry on the top, right? Would that client be happy and will definitely start implementing everything with high energy, with trust that it works, right? Even if it's going to be very innovative and will change a lot in their business? Probably yes. Because they can see the results and they will say, oh my God, I want to work with Kevin. Oh my God, I want to work with Asha. I want to continue that experience because I can really see all the results that were promised to me and more.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, tell us a little bit about some of your courses that you are about to release, that you have released, or that maybe that you're currently releasing. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I would love to invite you all to my accelerated profits masters.com, and on homepage you will have you can click on the button of free training over there, and that will give you first and foremost a free business training, how to increase your profitability, how to really challenge you with your finances, with your goals. But you will also, in the first email, you will have a chance to download one of my books. The title is Maximize Profits and Scale Your Business, the Essential Master Plan to Business Breakthrough. And this is a very cool book that you will receive completely free, obviously, as my gift, where in 12 steps I'm not going to say those are 12 easy steps, because they're not when we implementing that, but you will have a 12 good solid ideas how you can increase your business, grow profitability completely in the next 12 months to the level you really want. Then I will definitely invite you to schedule our opportunity call. It's right there as well, the invitation on acceleratedprofitsmasters.com homepage. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you. See you on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook. I know that all the links will be provided for you as well. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you on the phone on our opportunity call to see where you at and what are the gaps and how I can help you.
Who would you say is your ideal client? At what level of business? So I know you. I know we've talked before, because I tend to work more with the startups and the early stage. You tend to work with people who are the early to mid stage and goes above that. So how can somebody who's maybe listening to this podcast or watching us on YouTube, how can they possibly even pre-qualify themselves?
Absolutely. You know what? Actually, on my website, I also have like a marketing tool that quiz that you can take and see where you at, with everything, and see where you need some help. So definitely, I would love you to do that and pre-qualify yourself. Am I being a great, ideal client for Asha? But in the end of the day, I want to invite definitely, I will say mid-level business that is ready to grow, to scale, that is ready to really build a business, have systems in place, right? And most of all, definitely increase not only revenue, but profitability, profits, because only that's how you can invest back in yourself, in your business, in your growth, right? So if you're there, if you are ready in your mind, I want to scale, I just don't know how. I want to grow my business, I just don't know how yet. What are the next steps? What is the roadmap? I'm here for you.
Well, and going back to what I said earlier, and Asha is a perfect example for this. For things to change, you must change. And the thing is, you may have gone through some changes to get to where you are right now, but you may need to do some more things differently to take yourself to that next level. Now, it's not saying you're a failure, not saying anything along those lines. It's just saying, hey, what you've done got you to where you are right now, but now you need to do something a little bit different, some little tweaks to get yourself to that next level.
Absolutely. I love what you just said, and I have to tell you that my most successful clients, what they do constantly, and myself involved, right? I have to do what I preach, listen to my own advice, in other words. They constantly optimize. We constantly optimize their lead generation, their sales, their programs, their conversion, everything, business model. Only because when we re-innovate, rebrand, right? Bring something new, especially in this economy, our clients have to see that everything that we offer is fresh, is new, is full of energy, is innovative, because only then, with their attention span nowadays, with the competition, when they see the competitive advantage working with us, that's when you are very successful and visible in front of your ideal client that wants you.
So what's the best way for them to contact you? Is it through your acceleratedprofitsmasters.com website, or is it through a different way?
You know what? Accelerated Profits Masters, that's definitely one of the best. You have also my link over there provided to contact me and to schedule appointment with me. I would love everyone to connect with me on LinkedIn, Asha Mankowska on LinkedIn. Those are my two preferable spots And I know all the links are going to be provided for you. So anytime that is you guys listening to Kevin, his wisdom, and such a golden nugget he's sharing, remember about me.
Well, yes, everything's going to be down in the show notes, regardless if you're listening to this on a podcast or on YouTube. Also, I do want to reach out and ask the audience there if you enjoyed this show and you think you might be a great guest on the show, or if you know somebody else who could be a good guest, just go to our podcast website, which is at businessamplified.net. / pre-interview. Again, that's businessamplify.net / pre-interview. There's no dash in that, for a 15-minute pre-interview, so we can see if you're a good fit for the show. Otherwise, definitely reach out to Asha as well. Her LinkedIn profile is going to be in the show notes, or go to www.acceleratedprofitsmasters.com. That's profits with an S and masters also with an S. So there's two S's in there. So again, acceleratedprofitsmasters.com. Now, Asha, are there any last things that you'd like to share with the audience before we go?
Yes, I think the last thing that I want to share is if you want to grow and be successful in business, please don't be scared of getting a great support. What do I mean by that? Build your teams, get your networks, get your mentors. Surround yourself with people that can inspire you, be your accountability partners. Because when you're alone in business that is full of challenges and ups and downs, it's so difficult. So first and foremost, reach out to Kevin, reach out to Asha. You know how already too. If you would like, I would love you to have us as your board of directors, so to speak, as well.
There's a saying out there, and I've heard this for so many years, and I'm sure Asha's going to agree with me. But there's a saying that says your net worth is determined by your network.
Yep, I love it. That's right.
So the thing is, this is not a one-man show or a one-woman show. This is a
Yeah.
team show. This is a team experience. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out. You need to start getting people on your team. Some of them could be free. They could be, like you said, a accountability partner. I know I've got one. I talk to him every Wednesday. And I've had accountability partners for years. I started my first after taking one of T. Harv Ecker's courses through Peak Potentials.
Nice.
Is I found in 2014 a person. She's Indian and she's from Canada. And the thing is, I was living in Vegas at the time. She is in Vancouver, or she still is at the time of this recording. And for 4 years we talked on a weekly basis. Sometimes we talked twice a week. And the thing was, that accountability partner, having her on my team, was by far one of the most important things. And we were free to each other. I helped her, she helped me. And the thing was, I remember she admitted to me one time, and I think we met on Tuesdays. Tuesdays around 5 o'clock, and at that time we were in the same time zone. And she told me, "This Kevin, that this is yesterday at 6 o'clock. Like, I knew I had my call with you coming up. I didn't get what I said I was going to get accomplished done, because I was so rushed to get it done, just so I could say that I got it done." And that was huge for both of us.
So
Because what does accountability partner do? They help hold you accountable. That's the point.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, and I know sometimes the CEOs that I'm working with, they are so it's difficult or challenging for them to have accountability partner, because they are expected to know everything. They're very strong, triple A sometimes, you know, personalities, because they're expected. But the moment when they actually also reach out to us and are able to have accountability, they feel much better, they perform much better, because they know not everything, they're not being expected to know everything, and you know, every single time. They can actually have the sounding board or advisor or trusted advisor or mentor to, you know, to help them. But I just wanted you guys to give you some insight. when Kevin and I met in our 15 minutes. The 15 minutes, I think we talked so much. It was like an hour. It was so much fun to really chat and get to know each other. It's almost like we knew each other for a long time before. At least I felt this way. And we like, oh my goodness, it's been already an hour and not 15 minutes, right?
Yeah,
So,
our interview went a
yeah.
little long. Yes, I remember that.
So I just, all of you that is still thinking, should I be on the show or not? Don't be afraid to reach out to Kevin. Schedule you 15 minutes. That might be longer, when you have such a good bond and connection. And
Thanks for tuning in to another empowering episode of Business Amplified with Kevin A. Dunlap.
If you found value in today's insights, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast.
Keep amplifying your business. And remember, your success journey is our inspiration.
Until next time on Business Amplified, go out there and make your business thrive.